Happy Friday, traders. It's 8:02 a.m. Chicago time on Friday, the 27th of August, 2021. You're here on episode number 2061 this morning. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This morning, the overall risk posture, risk on in the overnight session, we had some good numbers come out of the U.S. here in personal income and spending. Personal income increased by 1.1% in July. Month on month, the forecast was 0.2. Personal spending came in line with the consensus of 0.3%. Goods trade balance came in better. And then we had wholesale inventories month on month advanced. It's 0.6% versus 0.3. The previous was 1.2. Overall, picture's looking somewhat rosy, but we're heading into the Jackson Hole conference today, and we're expecting comments about the economy from Fed's Chair Powell. Regarding inflation, the taper. We're looking for things relating to when the taper will start. We'll look for whether their view on inflation is still transitory or if it's here to stay. And then, of course, COVID continues to be in the picture with surges across the board in cases. So looking at today, again, mild risk on. We're seeing a pop higher in the indices. We're also seeing some inflows into the treasuries this morning. We're seeing the dollars slightly off, but really just mixed. Crude oil is the big gainer today. Crude gaining another $1.50 almost, 68.89 as you see in front of you. So that's where we stand. Looking at the calendar, Michigan inflation and consumer sentiment, these are final numbers. They don't generally move us as much as the prelim. Those are coming out at the same time as when Fed's Powell's speech is coming across. The speech can be obtained online live, can be watched live. It is a teleconference or an online conference as opposed to something that's in person. Crypto just kind of sitting sideways, up and down, up and down, up and down, pushing up against that 47 level. It's been around for a while for Bitcoin, key area 47,000. ETH, again, it's just sitting around the 3,200, not much there. It's resting. I expect there will be movement after today, though, so we'll see. The S&P, 125,000 contracts traded so far, rounded up. The inventory is 80% long. The range is 22 points. I know those numbers are correct. The profile overnight is multi-distribution with 73 currently acting as the mid for the full session, and the low volume node, almost you can consider it the line in the sand here. Very important area to watch early on. We want to see if we fall below it and start attacking settlement at 44.66 from yesterday, or if we hold the middle of the range from yesterday and then cut through the 44.85 and start attacking 4,500 again. Again, I expected 4,500 to be taken out this week. We've gotten a couple points within it, close to it, but didn't quite take it out. We'll see if today's action does so. So that's that. Looking at yesterday's plan, the primary scenario is a pullback to the 87 area, really 85, and a push into 4,500, and then I expect it to go as far as the 06. That did not happen at all. The secondary scenario was an attempt at 95 and a break lower through the overnight point of control, and then a push into 75 and a bounce. If not, then we were looking for a bounce off of the 6750 area. 6750 is the next key area down. So 75, 75, and 6750. Here's what actually took place yesterday as we dive into our review segment. There you have it. So what did we do? We pushed into 92 very early on. It's kind of smushed in there. Let's clean it up a little bit. We pushed into 92 early on, completely sideways. We had basically a zipper range that ultimately gave a lower high at the opening print, and difficult to catch that. That drop was news based. That was the bombing at the Abbey Gate in Kabul airport yesterday, resulting in many casualties. And we pushed that. That was basically the SOC right there at 44.8950, and then we pulled back into the prior day's range. The prior day's low is 44.8075, and we walk ourselves for the continuation down into 65. Remember, the target yesterday on the downside was 67.50, 67.50, and then we ended up holding this news event range right here. We ended up holding it basically for the rest of the session. The S&P closed quite weak. We tested 65 multiple times, higher low at 65.75, but couldn't get above the 73. So the 73 is a key area to watch today. You could see that the 75, the first area we're supposed to bounce at, we were expected to bounce at, that even though it got pushed through and sloshed through back here, it ended up holding out for the rest of the session, 75 to 73. This area right here represents pretty obvious support slash resistance, depending on where we are, with the 65 being the other side, and a weak low, very weak low yesterday. And surprisingly, we ended up pushing up in the overnight session as opposed to pushing down. So looking at the overnight session, this is a 30-minute chart here. We pushed that 65 down into 62. So we got the break lower. Remember, yesterday, we had basically an impulse on a 30-minute. It pushed back through the mid by quite a bit, and then we had a lower low, and we closed near lows. So we ended up extending the prices. Remember, we finished with a weak low. We ended up extending prices lower, but then taking a bid and holding steady above the 73. So this sets us up today because we have a double distribution on the overnight session. We have a double distribution on the day session. Look at the day session. We have a lower distribution and a small upper distribution, with the cutoff being what price being right there in the 85 region. So the overnight session really came up and tested the low volume node from yesterday at 85. So we have clearly defined areas here. 95 above, that stayed as the high. 95 was the point of control from Wednesday. So we have 95 above. We have 85. Now we've continued to establish 75 as a key area. 80 is the MC point of control, and then 60 as the low. A lot going on in this area, a lot of structure in this area, but we're coming into today with the multi-distribution overnight session indicating a battle, and then we're coming into today also with Jackson Hole and what is likely to be a fundamental event or a big picture event on the horizon. So We want to pay close attention to how this thing trades, and we definitely want to be here for the 10 a.m. Eastern U.S. time release of Jeremy Powell's comments. So 126,000 contracts. Delta is flat. We're still holding this balance range that I talked about since we got up here. We're still holding this area as balanced. This looks to me like a flag, not seeing why it wouldn't continue higher. The Fed has to pretty much say something relatively devastating for this thing to give it up. Closer look at the overnight session here. This is what we've got so far on the 4-tick Renko. So you can see the entire overnight session is encompassed in a small range of bars with a clear impulse and then continuation structure, and it's holding this double bottom. So this morning, we'd want to pay attention to the 73.50 area. Do we take it away immediately and start walking ourselves back to this weak low that we left behind yesterday into the 65? If we get below the 73, then shorts would want to target 65 and look for continuation down into 44.59, which is a high volume node below there. So 59, 55, 52, the next big areas on the map that we need to pay attention to. So that's where that stands. So just keep an eye on this 73 area, and then above 85, as I talked about, above that 95 becomes the MC point of control. We resume our targeting of the all-time highs of 4,500. So that's where that stands. Right now, the market is in a resting posture. So you could see that the market is really just holding sideways in anticipation of what's coming. The full session VWAP at 75 here, 75.50, providing a little bit of cover for that 73.50. All in all, this is a morning. Again, the point I'm making here is this is a morning where we would want to pay attention. Remember, yesterday we had a lot of size at the 65 that ended up getting pulled right at the close. That had been there for pretty much the entire session. That size is no longer there. It was at 64.75 yesterday. And then looking above and below, we don't see anything really significant until we get back into the 95. And of course, the Century figure has a block trade in there for about, looks like 250 out of 400, something like that. But really the order book is not indicating anything special this morning. It's all about Jackson Hole today. I would like to ask you to take a moment to find the like and subscribe buttons today for YouTube. If you are on YouTube, if you are on the EdgeClear Trader Byte channel, at the bottom right, as you hover over the video, you'll find a YouTube button. Click on that. It'll take you to YouTube. Log into your Gmail account or YouTube account and hit the subscribe and like button. It helps others find the channel more easily. It is the only thing I actually ask you to do, other than trading your plan, executing properly, and managing your risk, and being here tomorrow. Okay, so let's move on to what's expected for today. So we'll bring up our stock zone and master levels here, and we'll start to look at what we have. Let's cut down on the noise on this chart. Okay, so here's the overall posture. First scenario, this morning, primary scenario, open auction. We are, again, right in the thick of it. We're right in the thick of it. The point of control, yesterday's point of control is beneath us. I'm suspecting that the market is likely to pull back early to balance this out. I'm watching carefully in this area here. I talked about 73 being a key area. Watching for it to poke through, get back above, back over the overnight point of control, and then go and tackle the 85 for a run into the 95 area. So I'm looking for this thing to hover down up into the 9,500, the 4,500, poke through again, depending on when this happens, expecting it to push as far as '06, statistically speaking. Okay, this would give us approximately 30 points of range on a day with the Fed speaking. That's not too bad. That's not too far-fetched. So the key areas to map out: 85, 95, the 00, and the '06. Above, below, 73. Below that, 65 again. And then beneath there, 59. And then we move into 53, 52. Remember, this was a triple top that we broke from last Friday or Thursday, 53, 52, and then we're at the gap mid at 47. This is your map for the day. These are important levels. Memorize them, mark them on your chart with stock zones, do whatever you want to do. Just remember, this is your map for the day. Okay, those numbers don't change very much, so there's a tendency to memorize them and become very familiar with them. Secondary scenario, an open auction that attempts to push up, pushes the 85, confronted by sellers. Remember yesterday we had this similar scenario. I'm playing on the trend is up, and I'm not sure when that trend is going to pick up and continue into the 4,500. So I've got to play that as scenario one. As a primary expectation. Fall back through to the overnight point of control. We're opening around the overnight point of control, test to 73, break through, and then take out yesterday's low and start walking down towards the 59, potentially 53 before the bounce into the close. Again, we have a major event coming. We have a major event coming this morning, and so it's hard for me to tell when or what or whatever, but I know what the map is, and I know what prices are key, and that's what you need to know. Coming in with a plan is very, very important. So again, please take a moment to hit the like button and to subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then I'll catch you, if you're at Conversion, I'll catch you in the chat room. Everybody else, I'll catch you Monday morning. Take care.